Well, 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 look at what we have here. Hey, everybody, hope you're doing well. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. So, yesterday was MLB trade deadline, and it was anticlimactic. But there's some information that we know now that we didn't know yesterday. Okay, and I want to share it with you. Okay, I'm going to put up an article here. MLBTradeRumors.com. What does that say? Yankees reportedly backed out of Jack Flaherty trade following medical review. Yankees and Tigers had a preliminary trade agreement. They hadn't reached an agreement already in place that would have sent right-hander Jack Flaherty to New York prior to trade deadline earlier today, according to Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. But the Yankees ultimately pulled the plug after reviewing the right-hander's medical records. So his medical records were not clean. Okay? It's not clear what the Yankees would have traded to Detroit to acquire Flaherty had the deal gone through. The righty, of course, ended up traded to the Dodgers just before the deadline. So, and so on. In the meantime, the Yankees brought in Mark Leiter Jr. and Daniel De Los Santos. They brought in two relievers. Okay, let me get this out of the way here. Mark Leiter Jr. pitched last night. Okay, and I gotta give a special shout out to Mike Tunkin too for really bringing it last night. And he saved Clay Holmes' ass again, and came in through 2 innings, and he showed that fire in his belly at the end of the game when he closed it out, which was really, really refreshing to see. But the Yankees did add two relievers. Leiter averages 13 high strikeouts per 9 innings, and De Los Santos averages almost 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. So they got strikeout guys that they were looking for the bullpen, to add to the bullpen. Now, they did trade away Caleb Ferguson yesterday to the Houston Astros for a minor league pitcher and $750,000 in international money. So that's another thing that they did. And obviously they brought in Jazz Chisholm, one of the more, dynamic and exciting bats, and he's been nothing but fantastic since he's been here. Okay, but I wanted to get this intel out to you because, again, it can completely change the messaging. Which, the messaging yesterday, where I was getting from a lot of people, is Yankees didn't do nothing. Cashman's a bum, right? This and that and blah blah blah. Well, they had a trade for Flaherty, but his medicals weren't clean, so the starting pitcher would have come here. And they're also hearing that the Dodgers brought him here because they're worried that Yamamoto might miss some extended time. So it makes more sense for them to bring him over there. But aside from that, none of the big names are moving. The Yankees were looking for a third baseman. Yandy Diaz, Luis Rengifo. We were talking about Ryan McMahon. We talked about Taylor Ward. We talked about Jonathan Indian. None of those guys were moved to anywhere. So can't really fault the Yankees for not getting a guy that wasn't moved anyway. Either the prices were too high or the team actually didn't want to move him. The Rays offloaded a lot of players, as did the Marlins. But Yandy Diaz was not one of them. Okay? The fact is, the Yankees do have John Birdie coming back. Jazz Chisholm's playing a pretty stellar third base right now. I don't know what they're going to do at second, if they're going to keep Gleyber Torres there or they're going to call up Yorba Vivas or whatnot. Maybe they'll make some different plans this offseason, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated no matter what. So, as I always say, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay? And hit the notifications too. That way, when I do go live, When I put on news, All right? And thank you to everybody that joined us on the live stream yesterday. Like a 7-hour live stream, trade deadline day. And I thank all the folks that were in there from beginning to end. I got to thank Hector and Grace from Morning Brew. I got to thank Anna Fee. I got to thank Mikey Maz. I got to thank Jonathan. All the crew that stopped in. Nithin Ramachandra. Right, for joining us for a little while. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for your contributions to the stream. But this intel I wanted to get out to you. I wanted to make sure that you knew this because essentially, and you'll have folks that complain that Cashman didn't do anything, but had Cashman made this trade and he might end up being hurt here, you'd have the same people complaining that he got damaged goods. So, another Frankie Montez, and so this would be the complaint, and I think we all know this. So, to me, it changes the messaging, and I wanted to make sure you had this information before making any other opinions or decisions, right? His medicals were not clean. So, and Would they have paid a lot for potentially an injured guy? Yeah, possibly. And the Dodgers, they sent Trey Sweeney, former Yankee Trey Sweeney, and another prospect, I think, to the Tigers for Jack Flaherty. And there were a couple other ransoms being paid. Tanner Scott got an absolute ransom from the Padres. Now they have him there from the Marlins, and the Blue Jays got a ransom for Yusei Kikuchi. So the pitching prices were extremely high yesterday. But all the other big dogs, Tarek Skubal didn't go anywhere. Garrett Crochet didn't go anywhere. Tyler Anderson from the Angels didn't go anywhere. Jameson Taillon stayed in Chicago. None of those big arms got moved. None of them. So, and we know the Yankees had their hands in a lot of different pots, but unfortunately, as like a lot of other GMs, they weren't moved anywhere. Tanner Scott would have been nice, but I didn't know if they wanted to pay that much of a ransom for a guy who's going to be a free agent in 2 months. So the Padres are serious. I mean, AJ Preller is kind of like Dave Dombrowski. They have no problem mortgaging the future to try to win now. Okay? So, and it doesn't guarantee they're going to win. They still have to get past the Phillies, the Dodgers, and all the rest of these teams, and even the Diamondbacks, who added AJ Puck from the Marlins. Okay? So, relatively steady trade deadline. And, it's underwhelming in terms of the names that traded hands for the Yankees, but all in all, I think it was solid, and I give them a C+. That's my grade for the Yankees, C+. They could have added, if they brought in Flaherty and he stayed healthy, I would have them up to a B+ probably. If they added a third baseman, it would have probably been an A- or an A. Okay? So, I'm not going to fault them for moves that didn't happen anyway. Nobody got the other guys that the Yankees didn't get. Nobody. So, you let me know what your thoughts are. Load up the comments. Let's talk about this. But this is important information. And again, if he gets hurt with the Dodgers, then the Yankees dodged a bullet. They really did. So, and that still remains to be seen. But this is the Yankees team moving forward. They've got Giancarlo Stanton back now. He needs a few games to get into a groove. They've got 3 or 4 relievers coming back as reinforcements. Got John Birdie coming back. So they do have reinforcements coming back to add to whatever they have now. And Jazz Chisholm has added a different dynamic to this lineup. You could tell. And they've already won the first 2 games in the series against the Phillies. They've won the series against the Phillies, the best team in baseball right now. So maybe the Yankees didn't need to go over the top with moves. Maybe, maybe they have what they need, and the reinforcements that are coming back are going to help even more. And I sure hope that's the case. Okay, but let me know what your thoughts are on this. Let's talk about it. And obviously, if any of the news comes out at any point in time, the Yankees might, a couple guys were DFA'd and optioned out and stuff like that. So the Yankees might still add a lefty reliever. So I'm gonna keep my eye on it. Keep my eye out on that one, because Tim Hill is the only lefty reliever they've got right now since they traded Caleb Ferguson to the Astros. So I expect them to add a lefty reliever if one becomes available to them. So stay tuned. Have a good day. Peace.